The death of Renee Nicole Good, a controversial shooting in Minneapolis on the morning of January 7, 2006, a routine winter day in Minneapolis, Minnesota, was transformed into one of the most controversial law enforcement incidents in recent U.S. history. The person at the center of this event was 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, an American citizen, mother of three, poet, writer, and resident of the Twin Cities. Her death, caused by a shot fired by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE officer, sparked national debate over federal policing, use of force, and immigration enforcement policies. Encyclopedia Britannica +1 Renee Good was not a career activist or political figure. According to biographical information, she described herself on social media as a poet and writer and wife and mom, and had recently moved with her wife to Minneapolis. She had studied creative writing at Old Dominion University, where she won a poetry prize, and social media posts showed her engaged in family life and the arts. Encyclopedia Britannica +1 on that January morning, Minneapolis was experiencing heightened federal law enforcement activity. Thousands of immigration and customs enforcement agents had been deployed to the city as part of a large immigration operation ordered by the federal government. Tensions were already running high between local residents and federal agents. Good and her wife were driving together in their SUV just after 9:30 a.m. on Portland Avenue, near East 33rd and 34th Streets in the central neighborhood, only a few blocks from where they lived. According to video footage and eyewitness accounts, the couple encountered a group of ICE agents operating in the street. The agents were on foot and in vehicles, directing traffic and engaging with community members. ABC. In one widely shared clip, an ICE agent, later identified as Jonathan Ross, is seen approaching Good's SUV. Body cam and cell phone footage from that moment show Good speaking to officers from inside her vehicle. One video shows her wife standing outside, calmly responding to the agent, even joking about license plates before Renee's SUV began to move. ABC as Renee's SUV started to reverse or drive away. Accounts differ slightly depending on the viewpoint. Ross drew his service weapon and fired. According to multiple verified reports, Ross fired 3 shots at Good's vehicle. The bullet struck her in the chest, forearm, and head, and she was later pronounced dead at the scene after the SUV collided with other parked vehicles. Encyclopedia Britannica +1 law enforcement officials, including the Department of Homeland Security, defended the shooting as self-defense, claiming that Good attempted to use her vehicle as a weapon against agents. Government statements described the event as a dangerous escalation in which the officer believed his life and the lives of fellow agents were at risk. However, local officials and eyewitnesses strongly disputed this narrative. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey publicly rejected the federal account as inaccurate, saying it didn't match what he saw in the video footage. Multiple witnesses who were present described Good as attempting to leave the scene rather than threatening officers. One Minneapolis neighbor said she saw the SUV move forward and then heard gunfire, and insisted that there appeared to be no imminent threat to the agents. The Times of India in the aftermath reaction was immediate and intense. Community members gathered near the scene, and a vigil was held to honor Good's life. Hundreds of protesters called for accountability from federal law enforcement, and chants echoed through the surrounding neighborhood. The incident revived questions about the reach of federal agents in local communities, and whether existing use of force protocols are sufficient. The Guardian within the family and community, memories of Renee Good focused on her kindness and creativity. Her mother, speaking to local media, described her daughter as one of the kindest people I've ever known, and emphasized that she had devoted her life to caring for others. Those who knew her highlighted her compassionate nature and her devotion to her children and family. NPR News. The official cause of death was confirmed as a homicide by multiple gunshot wounds by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office. A recent autopsy report showed that Good suffered at least 3 bullets to critical areas of her body, with one wound being fatal. The shooting has been categorically ruled a homicide in medical terms, though legal investigations and debates about responsibility continue. People.com. The legal and political fallout has been significant. Federal and local authorities have disagreed over how to investigate the shooting, with reports that the U.S. Department of Justice blocked local civil rights probes and shifted investigative focus to whether Good's partner may have impeded ICE agents during the incident. This decision has itself become a flashpoint in discussions about federal overreach and local jurisdiction. New York Post. The case also sparked widespread protests beyond Minneapolis, with tens of thousands taking part in demonstrations and actions aimed at drawing attention to what many activists and families see as excessive use of force by federal law enforcement. Calls for reform and accountability have drawn national attention, and politicians from across the spectrum have weighed in on the matter. The Guardian, at the center of all the debate, remains a human tragedy, the loss of a 37-year-old mother, writer, and neighbor whose life was cut short in a confrontation that continues to divide opinion. For many in Minneapolis, Renee's death is a stark reminder of the fragile balance between law enforcement authority and individual rights, and the real emotional cost when that balance fails. Encyclopedia Britannica Today. The shooting of Renee Nicole Good remains under scrutiny. Independent investigations, legal challenges, and public debate continue as the city, the nation, and Good's family seek answers about what happened on that cold morning in Minneapolis, and whether justice will be served. This video is created for educational and informational purposes only. The content is based on publicly available reports, news coverage, and official statements at the time of production. This video does not intend to defame, accuse, or harm any individual, organization, or community mentioned. All individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised, as this video discusses real-life crime, violence, and sensitive events. This channel does not promote hate,